Multi-talented, multitasking, multi-everything people out there. Take it away.
Find your glory, write your story, fearless feet will carry you. Time you own it, take your moment, be a fire burning through. Hustling from night until morning, grinding it out, it won't be long. Feel your power, it's your hour, you inspire, you are strong.
Enjoy your Zoa. No applause? You're all fired.
Now that you've reached the stage in your life where quality television is important, Nubian TV is a black network that speaks to your lifestyle. Nubian TV is the world's first digital network devoted to the upscale and political lifestyles of black people. Nubian TV's programming includes politics, travel, fashion, food, automotive, arts and culture, civil rights, music, and more. Watch now on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, or watch globally at nubiantv.net. Nubian TV, it's what you want to watch.
Come with me if you want to live a more delicious life.
Oh, maybe we should get in the van.
In this world, we don't get to control much. The past, male pattern baldness.
Leggies.
Got one right now. The urge to pop that bubble wrap. But there is one thing we do get to choose every single day: what we eat. Welcome to the Sonic Department of Research and Deliciousness. We have everything you want, didn't know you wanted, and some things you didn't know were possible. Because we believe if you're not having fun, you're not living free. So come on, let's live a little.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Money! Are you ready? They are ready. Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here.
It's always a good time. That's what the show's about.
That's good.
Really good. Very good.
Coming in hot, Jimmy, coming in hot.
It's far from elementary.
Oh. Good morning, America.
I'm not going to try to strut like Michael or anything.
I have known George a long, long time.
Have you ever gotten him to dance?
Look at that face.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be there.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'm in.
That tells you something when Snoop Dogg's in. Michael, George, where? Ginger.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.
to Colton James Hodge, to Bluefish, to Aries Girl Podcast. One love, much love, all love to y'all. I had to take care of some business. Oh, my Lord. That song from Mary J. Blige. Ooh, there's a special place in hell for you. You for what you did to me. I'ma tell it all, 'cause the truth gonna set me free. Child, we're gonna do this shit again, okay? Because we are covering the Diddy trial over here. Actual, factual, smacktual content. So higher is waiting. Lower's available. But either way, we are live on tour, everybody. Let me take down this iconic intro here. Child, listen. You see the virtual tour background. Yes, you do. You hear that virtual tour music. Yes, you do. And then there is a me, damn it. Welcome in. Glad to have y'all here. Let's get to as the fireworks are going across the sky. Let's do what we do and go on tour. So guess what? I am going to read everything again. Because I can do it again. It's fine. It's no problem for me. You understand? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. One thing about me, always about my audience. Always am about my audience. I'm always about my audience. So, with that being said, let's make it do what it do and go on tour, child. Here we go. From NBCnews.com. And at 3:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Diddy Combs trial, Don Richard testifies about drug use, guns. Sorry. Pals. Sorry. Jesus. I was just a bazooka. Oh. I'm trying to reclaim this super soaker mouth of, wanting to have fun and be kind and in love. I was just a bazooka, so I gotta come back. Okay, Diddy Combs trial. Don Richard testifies about drug use, pals, and Casa Ventura beatings. The former Daddy Kane member faced a tough cross-examination from the defense, and also on the stand today were Ventura's former friend Kerry Morgan and Combs' former assistant David James. Here is where the sex trafficking trial stands. Child, I'm so gone. What she do, I do better. Shout out to Monica, by the way. Former Dandy Kane member Don Richard returned to the stand today. She testified last week that she witnessed Diddy Combs attack his ex-girlfriend Casa Ventura with a skillet filled with eggs. The defense tried to undermine her credibility today by highlighting inconsistencies with her statements and her attempts to continue working with Combs despite the alleged violence she witnessed. Ventura's former best friend, Kerry Morgan, also took the stand today. She described multiple instances where she said she saw Combs physically abuse Ventura, and a time where she herself was allegedly attacked by Combs. Morgan also testified that Ventura was also jealous of Combs' ex-girlfriend Kim Poor, and that Combs was jealous of Ventura's relationship with actor Michael B. Jordan. Also called to the stand was David James, a former personal assistant to Combs. James began his tearful testimony describing his hiring process when an executive at Bad Boy Entertainment told him, "This is Mr. Combs' kingdom, and we are all here to serve in it." He also said Ventura told him she couldn't leave Combs because he controlled her career and her money. Combs faces 5 criminal counts, 1 count of racketeering. and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs has ferociously denied the allegations against him. This live briefing may include graphic descriptions of sexual violence. For resources on sexual assault, call the National Sexual Assault telephone hotline. Sign up for the Diddy on Trial newsletter for key developments and analysis, and listen to Dateline's nightly podcast. So that's where we are right now. So we're going to do this over again, because one thing to know, 2 things for sure: I always execute my shows for my audience. Always. So I'm going to push this up just a little bit to hopefully, let's see, I think we can be done by what? Let's do 9:50. Yeah, we'll do that 9:50 just in case, because I don't want to go too long. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do 8:50. We'll do 8:50. That's a little bit better, because y'all should have to wait that long. Okay, we'll do 8:50. We got the Real Housewives of Atlanta after this show. Okay. Hey, Colton James Hodge. Good to see you, brother. By the way, Colton James Hodge, I love you. I value, I embrace you, brother. You are always here for me. And you found me from Ray to Love with GG9, Talk with Solana, Dr. Ucha, our main man Q. You are good people. Don't let anybody tell you anything different, okay? Love you, brother. Yes, indeed. Shout out to Bluefish and Aries Girl Podcast. I know Aries Girl Podcast and Bluefish and Colton James like, what the hell happened? Bray had to take care of some business, but we good now. Let's get to it, everybody. It is time for day 6 of the Diddy trial right here on Braylon's Virtual Tour Live. Here we go. Court is adjourned. Combs, former personal assistant, to resume tomorrow. Court has adjourned for the day. Wait a minute. Hang on. Wait a minute. Let me make sure something. Hang on. Oh, no. I meant to say 9. There we go. Okay. My bad, y'all. Okay. I was a little too close for comfort. Okay. So court has adjourned for the day, with David James set to return tomorrow for at least another hour of questioning from the prosecution. Cassie said Combs controlled her career and paid her allowance, former assistant says. David James recalled the first time he interacted with Cassie Ventura while he was Combs' personal assistant. It was in Miami when Combs rented a yacht to try to impress her, James said. When he and Ventura were smoking cigarettes, Ventura told him this place is crazy. When James asked why she did leave, if she thought it was so crazy, Ventura told him she can't. He controls my career and pays my allowance and pays my rent, she said, according to James' testimony. He broke down in tears on the stand again, as he described his second interaction with Ventura when they discussed a track list she picked out, and she was super happy. James also testified he heard Combs talk about Ventura to a friend during a car trip in LA, describing her both as his queen and being very moldable. Here's the thing, right? And I've said this before. A friend of mine, he said, Bray, you would take a skinny chick and make her thick. I'm like, first of all, you funny as hell. And I just laughed at that, because I'm just like, I like thick women, like what it is. I like them grown. Like, I just found out that Jack A. Harry and Ray J got it in. And I'm just like, you know what? Jack A. Harry could get it. Just like Kim Whitley could get. I'm not mad at it. Numero uno, solo dolo, the champion is Jill Scott. But, you know, from my age bracket, the Zinga Amani could be the Zinga Amani Lee, the Zinga Lee, Miss Lee, if you're nasty. I said to my friend, you know what? If I got a skinny chick and made her thick, then I am disrespecting the blessing that God made her. Why would I try to change somebody that I had an attraction to? If that's what attracted me to her, then why am I trying to change her? Just keeping it a buck. Former assistant said he was, oh yeah. Yes, okay, my bad. Okay. Former assistant says he was told this is Mr. Combs' kingdom and we are all here to serve in it. David James broke down in tears, describing the Bad Boy staff undying loyalty to the music mogul who viewed him as a king, the witness said. James recalled meeting with staffers during the interview process in 2007, and one female executive left a lasting memory. And overcome, James grabbed tissues and testified. The executive pointed to a picture of Combs on the wall and said, "This is Mr. Combs' kingdom, and we are all here to serve in it." James testified that Combs was surrounded by security staff who all carried legal weapons. He said the head security, Uncle Paulie, carried a switchblade. When asked what security told him about the job, James replied, "To stay in my lane. I understood it. Do what I was hired to do, and only that job." So being the personal assistant, right? There's a lot of things, right? You know, for example, hey, somebody's at the door. That would be a butler. But if you don't have a butler, hey, your personal assistant will get the door. Going to get, not Uber Eats job, but going to get, stuff to eat, stuff for the dog, personal assistant there, going to pick up dry cleaning, stuff like that. So when David James said this, I'm just like, he had you do more than one thing, Danny. But you can say it now. You understand. You got support, right? So, but yes, indeed. David James, Combs' former personal assistant, called to the stand. Carrie Morgan's time on the witness stand ended after a quick redirect from the prosecution, who just asked her to reiterate what she saw during Combs' assault of Cassie in Jamaica. The government then called David James, a personal assistant who worked for Combs between 2007 and 2009, to the stand. James told the court he was testifying because he was subpoenaed twice. So when you get subpoenaed by the government, you have no other option except to do what they said. Otherwise, there are consequences. So, Morgan said Cassie was not supportive after Combs allegedly beat her with a wooden hanger. Carrie Morgan says she hasn't spoken to Cassie Ventura in 7 years. After Ventura allegedly failed to take her friend's side after altercation with Combs. After alleged altercation with Combs, rather. Sorry, y'all. The witness recalled an incident when the three of them were at Ventura's apartment in 2018 when Morgan claims Combs grabbed her by the neck and hit her with a wooden hanger. The reason I stopped speaking to her was because she was not supportive of me after that incident. I draw the line at physical abuse, Morgan said under cross-examination. Even though Ventura eventually left Combs' married personal trainer Alex Fine is about to have their third child together, Morgan said the relationship remains broken. The witness said she received $30,000 to keep quiet. She said it was through him the money wasn't coming from her. She was the go-between, Morgan said. I did not demand money from anyone. She offered money to close the case more, so I don't sue anybody or say anything public about it. Morgan said all I got was $30,000. So here is Carrie Morgan. So this is Carrie Morgan right here. This is Carrie Morgan, everybody. So let me say this, right? I'm with Carrie Morgan because if I'm getting abused and you're not wanting to support me, we good. We ain't got nothing else to talk about. So I feel her. I do hope that because it's been 7 years, because the trial's happening, maybe their friendship can, because let me tell you something, friendships sometimes are more difficult, right, than relationships. Friendships hurt harder than relationships. The mental capacity for a friendship takes up more than a relationship. And I'm not dismissing boyfriend, girlfriend marriages, right? I'm not dismissing that at all. whatever partnership you have. I'm not dismissing that. But the reason why friendships hurt so hard is because you've built such a history where that history will make you conditioned to be still and not move, right? So to me, I feel like Carrie Morgan had every right. I'm in support of Cassie, but also too, I have to recognize that Cassie was under duress. So that's probably why Cassie wasn't supporting her. But hopefully, time has healed all wounds, because sometimes time and space heals wounds, right? But also too, you have to make an investment in that time and space for things to heal. So I feel Carrie Morgan on that. I feel her on that. Combs was jealous of Cassie's time with Michael B. Jordan, Morgan says. While Cassie Ventura may have been jealous of Kim Porter, her former friend says that Combs was also jealous of Cassie's time with actor Michael B. Jordan. Ventura told the court last week that she and Combs had broken up while she was in South Africa for a few weeks filming a movie. And during that time, he suspected she was having an affair with Jordan. Carrie Morgan said much of the same under cross-examination today. What I remember was that she was speaking to Michael B. Jordan. They hung out together, Morgan said, and he was jealous. And he was jealous of it. And my thing is this: wasn't you hanging out with Lori Harvey, sir? And your son was too. I'm just saying. Is Lori Harvey gonna be called to the stand? Is Steve Harvey gonna be called to the stand? I'm just asking questions. And this is the thing, right? For Diddy to say that, the swinger lifestyle enticed him, and they can swap partners, but yet he got mad when Cassie had another partner. Sir. That's what we do? Okay, cool. Cassie was jealous of Kim Porter, Morgan says. Cassie Ventura was jealous of Kim Porter. Sorry, So yeah, Cassie was jealous of Kim Porter, Morgan says. Cassie Ventura was jealous of Kim Porter, Combs' ex-girlfriend and mother to 3 of his children, according to Carrie Morgan. Defense lawyer Mark Fellow asked Morgan if Cassie was ever jealous of Porter. Passed away in 2018, rather. I'm sure Morgan said, yes, she was jealous because she could never go to the New Year's Eve parties. Porter was the mother to Combs' children, Christian and twin daughters, Jess and Delilah. So here's Kim Porter here. Morgan returns to the stand for cross-examination. The prosecution ended its direct questioning of witness Carrie Morgan just moments after she returned to the stand this afternoon. Combs' defense attorney Mark Fellow will cross-examine Cassie Ventura's best friend. I gotta pull up the clip. I got to. I got to. Like, for this man to cross-examine somebody on was Cassie jealous of Kim Porter, right? When Diddy was stringing Cassie along for all these years, when this dumb fuck right here, this so-called attorney said this in a publicly available, able to be watched documentary. Okay, let me play it for y'all, because I'm like, child, this is what we do. This is what we do. Okay, give it a moment, y'all, as it loads. Give it a moment, because I just can't.
Mom talk.
talk can never be all together.
You're trying.
You're manipulative, and you know it.
Please.
Move past this.
You have
no idea what's coming for you.
I feel like
Someone
I'm walking into a lion's den.
If she comes for me, I will absolutely dominate her. I will create a whole nother talk. You should literally be in jail. This relationship is so toxic.
It's a tangled web. Jealousy, exes, it's a huge mess.
This is the type of indictment you would expect from someone in the mafia.
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. He is
Someone in the mafia.
This woman is gorgeous. Moving on.
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. He is very eager to tell his story.
They're going to show that video over and over and over about what happens to women that won't change their stories.
His reputation is over.
The United States government, they start making this case as a takedown of a successful black man.
TMZ presents The Downfall of Diddy, The Indictment, now streaming on Tubi.
They call them freak-offs. But, you know, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes.
If these are genuinely
Oh, my
threesomes,
Lord.
how do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean, he has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home.
Wait a minute. I want y'all to hear that 2 more times. Hang on.
Came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
One more time. Just one more time.
Imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
But you want to cross-examine someone else's pain, but yet you say this shit on a publicly available, watchable documentary called The Downfall of Diddy from TMZ Studios that's available on Tubi. Like, what the hell is going on here? Damn. I can't. Court's back in session. Both sides have returned from lunch, and court is back in session. Morgan will return to the witness stand, but Judge Aaron Surian is first listening to arguments for a motion. Court adjourns for lunch break later than planned. Judge Aaron Surian adjourned the court for a 30-minute lunch around 12:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Slightly later than planned, Surian told attorneys that he hoped court would adjourn for lunch at noon now, that the court will for lunch at noon now, rather, that the court will adjourn at 3 p.m. Eastern every day. Now, unless you have that in writing and both sides are agreeing, and listen, I'm not a lawyer, go to Pam Esquire, go to lead attorney, go to people who do this, okay? I'm giving you this from the social point of view, okay? That's what we do over here. Unless there is something ironclad, it might go to 5 o'clock every day. But then again, he is a federal judge, so what he says probably goes. I'm just saying from the outside looking in. Okay. Now, Combs gave Morgan a concussion in alleged wooden hanger assault and paid her off. Carrie Morgan recounted the alleged assault she personally endured from Combs that ended her almost 2 decades of friendship with Cassie Ventura. Like I said, Tiffany Red is also a best friend of Cassie Ventura, so I wonder if she would be on the stand as well. And Young Miami, you know people weigh on you, right? And I will just say this, right, to DJ PD Epidemics. If Young Miami gets on the witness stand for this trial, her testimony will be believed before anything that comes out your damn mouth will be believed. Okay, just keeping it a buck. Just keeping it a buck. Young Miami versus talking to a 15-year-old greasy on a Discord call. I'm just saying. And you have the Black Dazzle, Black Proxy, and Black Imagination to say about Laura LaRosa that she's this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, bruh, you don't deal with industry people, but motherfucker, you were on the Breakfast Club. What are you doing? You were on Complex. That's a part of mainstream media, you dumb fuck. What are you, a social Republican in entertainment? Well, I don't want to be seen by iHeartMedia and Complex and all these other platforms. I do declare. Bruh, do you know who owns Twitch? Amazon. But you don't deal with any industry people but Amazon's in the industry. Moving on. I can't. Lord Jesus. She testified she was at Ventura's house listening to music when Combs came into the singer's apartment. Cassie was in the bathroom and Morgan said she was in the living room at the time. He came up behind me and choked me and left finger marks on my neck and hit me in the head with a hanger, Morgan told the court. Cassie was in the bathroom. It hit me right behind my ear. Morgan added that Combs was talking about Cassie cheating on him and she grabbed her personal things and left. She said she went rather to an urgent care for a concussion, noting that she was dizzy and vomited a few times. She hired a lawyer but did not file a lawsuit, Morgan said, instead being paid $30,000 from Combs and saying that she signed a non-disclosure agreement. We haven't spoken since, Morgan said. The last time I spoke to Sean was the night of the assault. The last time I saw Cassie was when I signed the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement. Cassie didn't feel she could leave Combs because of her job, Morgan says. Combs abuse. She refused due to what it would mean for her career and livelihood. Prosecutor Meredith Foster asked Morgan whether she had ever spoken with Cassie about if she should stay with Combs. Morgan told the court that she and her former best friend would speak about it often. I wanted her to do what she wanted to do, but I told her she should leave him, Morgan said, and she said she could not because of her job, her car, her apartment. It was apparent to Morgan that Ventura spent time with people associated with Combs. She did not want to leave him. Earlier in her testimony, Morgan said that Cassie was frustrated that Combs was in charge of her career, but never said why he was preventing her from releasing new albums. So this is my thing, right? You were so big, bad, and bold to determine somebody's career, but yet you told them to wait for them to have a career. If you're the alpha and omega of hip-hop, then you should be able to do it. Because quite frankly, I believe that LL Cool J could do LL Cool J's Rock the Bell records and whoop ass on Bad Boy Records any day of the week. That ends in Y. That's every motherfucking ass day. So, what are we doing here? Like, LL Cool J has done more for rap than P. Diddy did. I mean, LL Cool J has done NCIS Los Angeles. They wanted to be an actor. If Paramount was smart, but they're not that smart. Because do you know why? They're in... Come close. $14.9 billion in debt. They were smart. They would turn Pop TV into LL Cool J's Rock the Bells television network. As the fireworks are going off behind us, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. But he's not that smart, though. Not that smart. Not that smart. Not that smart. Okay. So let's roll on. Let's roll on. Okay. Morgan recalls multiple acts of violence by Combs against Cass. Carrie Morgan described multiple incidents of Combs allegedly flying off the handle of being Cass and Ventura with seemingly no provocation. Morgan first detailed an incident when she and Ventura were vacationing in Jamaica and Combs arrived halfway through their trip. Cassie had gone to the bathroom. After a few minutes, Sean said she was taking too long and he left me, and then I heard her screaming. The witness testified. It was guttural, terrifying. I heard her screaming, so I went to the long hallway, and they were coming out the master bedroom, and he was dragging her by her hair. Combs then dragged Ventura outside and threw her to the ground, where she hit her head on brick. Morgan said Ventura and Morgan then fled the scene in a golf cart and hid in a ditch as Combs searched for them in another golf cart for hours, Morgan testified. In a second incident, Morgan told the court that she was with Combs and Ventura at a house the defendant was renting in Los Angeles, Hollywood Hills. She saw Combs allegedly hit or kick Ventura. Morgan urged the music mogul security guard Ruben to do something, and he refused. Like I said, the first tour of this, before I had to take care of business, I said, if Ruben gets on the stand, then that means it's over, right? Because see, a lot of people were confused on why Cassie was up first, while she was the first witness. The prosecution is able to build their case around Cassie's case, so everything's going to lead back to Cassie's case. And there was a female attorney that said something very poignant. She said, and I quote, right? She said, and I quote, that they haven't proven sex trafficking yet, but for them to do this early means they got to have more down the line. And I fully agree with that analysis. I really, really do. She told the court that she and Ventura left the house to hide at a neighbor's place and heard Combs driving by to look for them. Ultimately, however, Ventura returned to Combs' house, Morgan said. Combs had mood swings and could be very aggressive, Morgan testifies. Carrie Morgan told the court that she got to know Combs very well in the roughly 11 years that he was dating her former best friend. She described him as someone who was sometimes very nice and generous, but also as someone who had mood swings and could be very aggressive. Morgan testified that Combs would get mad at Cassie and that Cassie lost her spark and confidence while with Combs. When asked whether Combs ever spoke down to Cassie, Morgan said it could be often and could be regarding her looks or her behavior. Morgan also told the court that Combs would sometimes call her up to 50 times in a row to look for Cassie. Morgan testified that she personally witnessed Combs assault Cassie 2 times, once in Jamaica and once in Los Angeles. Now, I brought this up earlier on the first slide before I had to take care of some business. There was something that happened a while back. And by the way, y'all, Audrey O'Day is not going to be testifying. But I wanted to bring the story up from Hot Night. Diddy allegedly bombarded former Dirty Money bandmate Kalena Harper with over 50 calls after Don Richard lawsuit. According to the neighborhood talk, shout out to the neighborhood talk, by the way, The assistant U.S. United States District Attorney states that Diddy allegedly called Kalena Harper, a former member of Dirty Money. That was the name of the group, but Dirty Money, 54 times in a single day. So, what does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What does that tell you? What does that tell you? He's done this before, in the words of Dr. Phil, which, Dr. Phil's like, he's like a meat market. You gotta choose the meat that you want. But sometimes there is good meat at the meat market. Past behavior predicts future behavior, right? So yeah, that tracks out. And I'm kind of wondering if the prosecution and the defense are pulling up articles and stuff, because like I said, that clip about one bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I wonder if they will pull that up in court. Now, of course, Marco Felio will probably try to spin it and be like, guys, I was asked my opinion, right? I was asked my opinion, right? I have the First Amendment, right? Say what's on my mind, right? Okay. Morgan testified that she personally witnessed Combs assault Cassie 2 times, once in Jamaica and once in Los Angeles. Okay. I moved on. Cassie's former best friend says she did want to testify. Carrie Morgan made it clear that she was only in court testifying because she was issued a subpoena by the government. I do not want to testify, Morgan said when asked why she was there. I moved on with my life. Morgan also confirmed that she and Cassie Ventura, who met on a modeling shoot as teenagers, no longer speak because Ventura's boyfriend assaulted her. Carrie Morgan, Cassie's former best friend, takes the stand. Carrie Morgan, the woman Cassie Ventura described as her former best friend, was called to the witness stand by the government once Don Richards' testimony was concluded. Ventura testified last week that she met Morgan when she was a teenager, and the two remained close for about 17 years, almost 2 decades, ladies and gentlemen. Combs' former girlfriend testified that their friendship ended after Combs allegedly hit Morgan in the head with a wooden hanger, but Morgan was allegedly aware of the abuse Cassie endured from Combs and had been around the couple regularly in the early days of their relationship. Cassie still lived in New York City. So there is Carrie Morgan right here. So Carrie Morgan's right here. Despite Combs' death threats, Richard admits to trying to work with him again. Under another round of cross-examination, Richard admitted she tried to work with Combs again, despite all her allegations that the music mogul engaged in violence and drug use. The defense lawyer, Westmoreland, ticked off the number of performances, writing sessions, travel, and career talks Richard would have to engage in with Combs despite the bad acts she allegedly seen. Westmoreland asked, "You would spend a lot of time together even though he made death threats?" Richard responded, "Yes." When pressed about her lawsuit against Combs, Richard said, "I want justice and to be made whole." And when Westmoreland asked if that meant being paid money, Richard answered yes. Richard said she repressed memories of Combs due to trauma. Federal prosecutor Mitzi Steiner picked up questioning Richard following a tough cross-examination where defense attorneys attempted to undermine Richard's testimony by pointing out inconsistencies in her retelling of events. Steiner asked whether Richard had thought about the incidents a lot over the decades since she witnessed them. "No, it was a hard time, a bad time for me," Richard said. "It did not all come back immediately. The environment was traumatizing. So I tried to erase those things from my memory." By speaking with investigators, Richard said that more memories come to her every day and that she tries to relay things as best and accurate as I can. She confirmed that she did tell the government that she saw Combs hitting Cassie, and he threatened to keep her quiet during several meetings. Richard testified that she had no doubt that Combs tried to strike Cassie, or that Cassie went into the fetal position, or that Combs dragged Cassie by the stairs by her hair. She also had no doubt that Combs threatened Richard to keep quiet. Richard felt that Combs derailed her career twice. Richard's cross-examination moved into her career with Combs, which included her work with Dandy Kane and Combs' trio, Diddy, Dirty Money. The singer confirmed that though she said she was scared of Combs, she asked to work with him again. Westmoreland brought up the hundreds of thousands of records Richard sold while with both groups. Richard confirmed that she asked Combs to sign her as a solo artist in 2011, which would have been the end of her time with Diddy, Dirty Money, and Combs denied her. She also said she asked to work with Combs as recently as about 2020 or 2021. You felt like Mr. Combs ruined your career not once but twice, Westmoreland asked. Yes, Richard said. Richard then immediately tell government about pals. Admits she changed her story about drugs. The defense challenged Richard's testimony about weapons and narcotics, as she allegedly saw in Combs' possession, interfering that her memories only recently came to light under direct examination. Earlier on Monday, Richard detailed the time she saw Combs with pals and drugs. Westmoreland asked Richard why the witness did mention pals in 8 meetings with prosecutors. She said it wasn't asked. Just because it wasn't asked, Don Richard, doesn't mean that you didn't need to say it, right? Because what this does, it makes you look like a liar to the government, right? Now, of course, when you go through traumatic events, you do suppress memories, right? I've been there myself just recently. Just keep the buck. But anyway, with that being said, even though you suppress the memories are still there, and that should have been said to prosecutors. That's just my point of view, but also too, I'm not Don Richard, right? Because as we know, like that article from Hot 97 said, Diddy called Kalani Hopper, a former member of Dirty Money, or Diddy Dirty Money, 54 times in a single day to intimidate her, right? And there's supposed to be like a witness 3, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Witness 3 was supposed to be on the stand, but we have not seen from her, heard from her, or had any sign of her, right? So sorry, y'all. If y'all wonder why I'm picking on, it's my dry skin eczema. Had eczema for years, y'all, so my bad. Okay. Also under direct examination on Monday, Richard said she saw Combs taking ketamine, Coca-Cola, and Molly. Westmoreland asked Richard if she changed the story after previously telling government investigators she had seen Combs with Coca-Cola. Yes, as time progresses, I get better at knowing what went on because it was quite a long time ago, the witness said. And I will agree with that. I will definitely agree with that for sure. Defense pushes back on Richards, saying Combs threatened her with people go missing, right? Combs' defense is attempting to catch inconsistencies in Richards' direct testimony, this time with the allegation that Combs said to her that people go missing, and that they could die after witnessing a fight between him and Cassie Ventura. Westmoreland pulled up interviews Richard had with prosecutors in October and March, where she also recounted the same incident with a skillet. Westmoreland pointed out Richard said in the interview that Combs said this was a love thing with no mention of people going missing in her interview. That's not true. I don't recall saying that, Richard responded. You didn't tell prosecutors that Sean Combs said people go missing. Westmoreland continued, I did remember what Richard told the court, later stating that she remembers everything I am telling you now. Like I said before, Diddy threatened the editor-in-chief of Vibe magazine. You can look that up. And he has said, before, we've heard this from multiple people, that I can end you, right? We've heard that before, and that, you can't go up missing. So it's been said out here in these virtual streets, right? So defense questions Richard's version of Skillet incident, reminds her that she's under oath. Defense lawyer Nicole Westmoreland tries to poke holes in Richard's claim that Combs attacked Ventura with a skillet of eggs. Westmoreland suggested in her questions that Richard has told different versions of the 2009 incident, including one that simply had Combs throwing eggs at Ventura. Richard told jurors on Friday that she saw Combs try to hit Ventura with a skillet. Westmoreland reminded Richard that she is under oath, and then asked if she changed her story over time. Richard responded, I said the best that I could recall. Defense begins cross-examination of Richard. Combs' attorney, Nicole Westmoreland, began cross-examination of Richard and picked up where prosecutors left off Richard's lawsuit against Combs. Westmoreland asked if Richard was aware there was a pending motion to dismiss her lawsuit, a standard practice with civil suits, but Richard said she did know. Defense then began a line of questioning in an attempt to undermine Richard's testimony last week that she witnessed Combs throw a skillet at Cassie. Westmoreland asked if Richard's allegations have changed over time. Westmoreland said that in a letter sent to Combs, Richard alleged that she heard a pan hit the wall but didn't see it. Richard responded to the series of questions that she wasn't aware or didn't recall what Westmoreland was referencing. Correction, May 19th, 1:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A previous version of this live blog misstated Richard's testimony Friday. She testified that Combs tried to strike Ventura with a skillet, not that he struck Ventura. Either way, this skillet thing happened, right? Because like I said, there's a lot of people that were in Miami and California. And I'm sure he had a place in, Martha's Vineyard. By the way, if you don't know about Martha's Vineyard, that's our territory. I did not know that for a long time because I kept seeing Martha's Vineyard summer house on Broadway. I'm like, what? Why the hell are we at Martha's Vineyard? Turns out, we black people made it a place. The things you learn. Yes, indeed. Richard said that she's seeking justice, not a big civil court payout. Richard ended her direct examination by saying she's seeking justice in the hopes of inoculating Richard against defense claims that she be biased against Combs due to her federal lawsuit against the music mogul. Assistant U.S. Attorney Mitzi Steiner asked the witness what she hopes to gain from testifying. Steiner asked Richard if she's expecting any compensation for her testimony. I'm expecting justice. I don't advocate for violence, but I do advocate for justice. I don't advocate for violence, but I do advocate for justice. I don't advocate for violence, but I do advocate for justice. Hashtag cause some good trouble, in the words of Congressman John Lewis. Rest in peace to that good brother. Yes, indeed. Combs supplied with drugs by a dealer named One Stop and was surrounded by pals, Richard says. Prosecutors returned to questioning about Combs' drug use, or rather his offers of drugs to other people while Richard was on the stand. Richard testified that Combs would have a drug dealer named One Stop deliver a range of substances to the recording studio, including Coca-Cola and grass. She also told the court that Combs or his assistants would carry a Louis Vuitton pouch filled with drugs. Cassie Ventura referred to the Louis Vuitton pouch as Combs' med bag during her testimony last week. Prosecutors then asked if Richard ever saw a weapon while with Combs. Richard said she saw firearms a few times and that Combs' bodyguards had them and held them in their lower back. Cassie told to wait her turn for an album. Combs' employees did stop violence, Richard says. Combs would angrily tell his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura to wait for her turn for recording an album, Richard said. When Richard would support Ventura's musical aspiration, Combs then likely talking with her about that, Wood said. So you don't expect an artist to talk to an artist about music? But aren't you a music producer though? You would. Okay. He said it would be on his terms. It was always wait. She had to wait for her turn. Sometimes it was just wait your turn. Other times it was violent or volatile. She said witnesses said numerous employees of Combs and his Bad Boy Records witnessed his violence against Ventura and no one stepped in. Richard's testimony could help bolster the prosecution's narrative that Combs committed racketeering conspiracy by using his multifaceted business empire to coerce and control women for sex. Richard was in two different music groups formed by Combs. Richard is likely best known for her time performing with the girl group Dandy Kane, but she was also another musical group in the mid-2000s. She got her start with Combs through his reality show Making the Band 3, which was on MTV. I'm sure Paramount Global has been subpoenaed. I'm sure. Because here's the thing about reality TV shows. Reality TV shows, they tape 12 hours, right? 12 hours. 12 hours. 12 hours on a good day. 14 hours on a bad day. Okay. So, with that being said, and I remember reading an article about 47 The Apprentice and how there was unaired footage. So that's why I'm saying Paramount Global and MTV probably has gotten subpoenaed. I'm just saying. Which is how Dandy Kane formed. The group had two relatively popular albums between 2006 and 2008, but disbanded in January 2009. Combs then briefly formed a trio with himself, Richard, and Kalani Harper. The same year it was announced Dandy Kane broke up. That lasted until roughly 2012, and Richard released a solo album called Golden Heart the next year. So yes, there. By the way, this is Don Richard. This is the person who's on trial. This is Diddy, and then that's Kalani Harper right there. So those are the three people there. Okay. Women in Dirty Money wore sunglasses solidarity with Ventura after being, Richard says. The two female members of Diddy Dirty Money wore sunglasses alongside Cassie Ventura during a Central Park appearance as a way to support her, Richard testified. According to Richard, Ventura was punched in the face by Diddy at his home in 2009 ahead of the event. Diddy's former girlfriend had swollen eye that Ventura used makeup and sunglasses to hide. Richard told the court, we wore sunglasses to have solidarity with her and have a support system because she needed it, Richard said. Beatings from Combs often triggered by Cassie speaking up for herself. Don Richard said she regularly witnessed Combs lashing out at Cassie Ventura over the years. Often after his then girlfriend would voice her opinion, frequently he would punch her, choke her, slap her in the mouth, kick her, punch her in the stomach. Richard told jurors. It could be because Cassie was speaking up for herself. It could be random. It could be if she had an opinion for herself. Richard said she would be quiet, and when she had these moments of trying to stick up for herself, he would hurt her for it. This is just the 6th day. These testimonies are very solid, right? Because what the defense is trying to allege is we know he did bad stuff. Right? We know he did DV, but did he commit an actual factual crime? And consistency creates traction. That traction creates motion. So these testimonies are creating traction, which is making motion for the trial to have this vitality of energy. Richard testifies that testifies Combs told her she could die or go missing. Richard recalled how frightened she was when Combs allegedly threatened her and the defendant's then girlfriend Cassie Ventura. The incident happened in 2009, a day after Combs attacked Ventura with a skillet. According to Richard, he said, "You could go missing and that we could die." Richard told jurors, "I was so shocked, but also scared. I couldn't believe this would be the beginning of a journey for us with the group Dirty Money." Richard returns to the stand. After about 20 minutes of a discussion between the judge and attorneys from both sides, Richard was brought back to the witness stand to continue her testimony. Richard wore slacks with a white shirt and an overcoat. Court is now in session. Court is officially in session, kicking off day 6 of Combs' trial. Richard and Combs' attorneys arrived in court. Former Danny Kane member Don Richard arrived at court shortly after 8 a.m. Combs' attorneys, including Xavier Donaldson, Al Shapiro, and Mark Affelio, were also seen arriving this morning. Here's what Don Richard said in court Friday. Don Richard, a former member of Danny Kane, a all-girl group Diddy created on MTV's Make It the Band, took the stand Friday and testified that she saw Combs physically assault Ventura in his Los Angeles home in 2009. Richard alleged he threw Ventura to the ground and threw a skillet full of eggs at her, put his arm around her neck and dragged her upstairs. "I was scared for her. I was scared to do anything," Richard testified. Richard is also expected to continue her testimony today. Marriage therapist speaks on Combs and Ventura's relationship. Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura were in a decades-long relationship. As Ventura wrapped up her testimony in the trial, NBC News' Gadi Schwartz spoke to Sana Damont, a licensed marriage and family therapist, about the couple's relationship. How the Combs trial might affect hip-hop. Combs spent most of his career as an influential figure in hip-hop. Now that he's on trial over human trafficking allegations, NBC News Gadi Schwartz talks to Variety senior music writer Stephen J. Horowitz about how his trial might affect the drama. Then finally, here Cassie's graphic testimony may set the stage for what is to come. In the first week of testimony in Combs' federal sex trafficking trial in New York, Cassie Ventura, whose real name is Massad Ventura, described over 4 days on the witness stand a tumultuous relationship with the music impresario that began in her early 20s and lasted on and off for over a decade. As the government's star witness, her responses gave a window into a world centered around paid sexual encounters lasting days and sometimes occurring weekly, known as freak-offs, that she said she was forced to endure under the threat of physical and psychological abuse. The freak-offs were so regular, she said, they became a job. Much of what Ventura 38 testified was graphic, rather, from the sex acts with male escorts to the violence, including the fights with Combs that left her covered in bruises. She said if she attempted to refuse a freak-off and physically threatened, Ventura recounted how she said Combs raped her on her living room floor in 2018, which he has denied. So that's everything you need to know for day 6 of the trial. So when we come back, I got something from TMZ. And also, too, there's no cameras in the courtroom. Wait till y'all see this. This was crazy. We got a lot more tour to go on. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll be back right after this, everybody. Roll it.
secret about our approach. We keep moving forward.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
In Disney's 102-year history, there have been many defining moments and countless achievements. Today, we celebrate another thrilling moment, the creation of a spectacular new Disney theme park resort coming to Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi is a place where heritage meets innovation, a place where we preserve our past while designing the future.
Bringing a Disney theme park resort to Yas Island, Abu Dhabi marks a historic milestone in our journey as a global family destination.
The 7th Disney theme park resort destination represents a new frontier in theme park ambitions. Our resort in Abu Dhabi will be the most advanced and interactive destination in our entire portfolio. The location of our park is incredibly unique. It's anchored by a beautiful waterfront, which will allow us to tell our stories in completely new ways. Ultimately, this project will be a celebration of what's possible when creativity and progress come together.
What we are creating with Disney in Abu Dhabi is a whole new world of imagination, an experience that will inspire generations across the region and the world.
This collaboration represents a powerful fusion of Disney's unmatched legacy in storytelling and Mira's commitment to bringing world-class entertainment to our guests.
Abu Dhabi's vision for the future is to create a legacy for generations to come.
Disneyland Abu Dhabi will be authentically Disney and distinctly Emirati. An oasis of extraordinary Disney entertainment at this crossroads of the world. It will bring to life our timeless characters and stories in many new ways, becoming a source of joy and inspiration for the people of this vast region to enjoy for generations to come.
When we start a project, we always start with story. That story is key. So we began with the story of the Waturi people. The myth of the Waturi people is that long ago, they set out on their outrigger canoes looking for a new home. There was a legend that said they could only find this new home with the help of this mini golden-finned fish called kanuku. And they searched across Pacifica and Polynesia, and they visited all these islands. They went to Bali and Tahiti and went as far as Rapa Nui, Easter Island. Along the way, they made friends, collected sort of the culture, and they sailed on and on and on, and they almost to the edge of the world. There, to their amazement, was Kanuku. And she turned to the people and said, "You are ready." Turned and swam away. They followed, and within a day, they caught sight of this smoking mountain on the horizon, which was Volcano Bay. And it was pristine, beautiful, lush, everything that they would want in a home. And that's the backstory that informs everything we do in our design. The idea here is to create the best experience. We know what our guests want. They want the thrill and excitement of our theme parks, but they also want a place where they can relax and chill out and feel pampered. Nobody wants to stand in line. And so we said, let's get rid of them. Nobody wants to carry rafts up a ride tower all the way to the top. So we said, let's do that for you. Exhilaration and excitement and relaxation. That's what you're gonna get at Volcano Bay.
I'm loving it. Loving y'all right back. Welcome back into Brainley's virtual tour live, child. Glad to have all you here. Oh, my Lord Jesus. Child, ooh. Okay, so we're going to do it at 10:30. Sorry, y'all. So I had to take care of some business earlier, so y'all were going to get a Real Housewives of Atlanta review at 6 o'clock, but the sector being the sector that is, had to have a villain. Had to have a villain. Had to have a villain, child. But I think we're good. So, with that being said, everybody, I want to show y'all this from TMZ. Now, this is from the trial. Diddy's hotel trial. Hotel room photos from arrests, drugs, baby oil, and cash. Okay. Federal agents testified that they found drugs, baby oil, lubricant, and cash stashed in Diddy's New York City hotel room after his September 2024 arrest. They took photos as evidence, and now we're seeing what they say they found. So there's the bottles of baby oil there. Let's launch the exhibits. So I'm guessing that's lube. That looks like some Benadryl pills there. Neosporin maybe, and a lighter. Now, wait a minute. Now, I'm just going to say this. There was a thing called Tussie. Tusi, okay? Now, I'm going to show you what this looks like, okay? I'm going to just show you, okay? I'm going to just show you. Because I do believe that it was in the testimony last week, actually. So let me open this image in new tab. This is what that looks like, okay? Okay, done. We're done. So I don't know if that's what that is. You can look up what that is. Okay. Jolly Rancher, take 1 tablet daily. Looks like aspartame, looks like. Frank Black. Hey, Frankie, how you doing? I'm sorry. Oh, my Lord Jesus, child. I simply cannot. That's hilarious. Okay. So these are all the exhibits. So $100 bills. Got some eye drops there. So this was the hotel room here. Okay, now to the attorney who said, I don't think it was 1,000. Let's go back to that clip. Hang on one second. Yeah, hang on one second. Hey, everybody. Let me type in the timestamp here. Sorry, y'all. Had a call come in, or I made a call because I needed some support, child. I needed some support. Okay. There we go. So, with that being said, let me set it up for y'all here. Hang on. Let me set it up. Hey, there we go. Okay, so it's at 10:30. Okay, we good on time. We good on time. Okay, so let's go back to this, because here the baby oil bottles, right? And so Mark and Felio said it wasn't thousands. So let's go back to this.
It's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know, thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. It's thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
Is that one bottle of baby oil? Mark and Felio, you dumb fuck. Like, these are government exhibits. Closet there. I think that was the entryway. Yeah, that was the entrance. Looks like cell phone there. Yeah, looks like cell phone, Apple. That's an Apple TV remote. Now, what is that? Is that a speaker per se? Oh, no, that's a suitcase bag. Excuse me, man. That's a suitcase bag. Okay, then there's the Louis Vuitton purse right there. There's a Louis Vuitton drug bag right there. There's his clothes there. All the baby oil right there. Mark, what did you say, good sir? What did you say about the baby oil? What did you say about the baby oil? What did you say about the baby oil?
Thousands. I mean, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying
it's lubricant
for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way.
So damn stupid. Here's the restroom. Now, we don't know what this is. Is this like a external hard drive? I'm thinking that's what it is. And there it is there. So I want to show y'all that. Now, finally, there is no audio video in the courtroom. So Diddy trial recreated by artificial intelligence video because of courtroom ban. This is from Peter Pixel. Okay. So Law and Crime is providing coverage of the Sean Diddy Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial by recreating proceedings with generative AI. This is crazy. Let's see what this looks like. Like I said, I have not seen this clip, so first time for me, just like it's going to be first time for you seeing it, hearing it, experiencing it. Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Maureen Comey, Matisse Steiner, Meredith Foster, Madam. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Maureen Comey, Matisse Steiner, Meredith Foster, Madison Smizer, and Christy Slavic for the government.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. You have Mark Agnifilo, Taney.
Hey, I'm trying to refresh it so y'all can see it clearly because I want y'all to see it very, very clear. Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
I don't know why it's not coming up.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Maureen Comey, Matisse Steiner, Meredith Foster, Madison Smizer, and Christy Slavic for the government.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. You have Mark Agnifilo, Taney Garagos, Brian Steele, Alexandra Shapiro, and Jason Driscoll. And we're joined today by Mr. Combs. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Combs.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Have you heard the questions I asked the government attorney and your counsel and their answers?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
That is crazy, bruh. First of all, that's mind-boggling, right? That is mind-boggling, okay? Right here. As there is no real footage from the courtroom, Law and Crime and the Legal and True Crime TV network, which is owned by Dan Abrams, by the way, who used to do Live PD, but now he does On Patrol on the Reels network, has found a new way to bring the drama of Combs' federal trial to the public. The network is releasing artificial intelligence-generated videos, recreations of the high-profile trial, which is expected to last 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks, with a little wiggle room there. Based entirely off of official court transcripts. In a press release, the TV network says it is using artificial intelligence to generate segments to depict the exact words spoken by key witnesses, investigators, and legal figures, ensuring viewers get factual, real-time understanding of what's unfolding in the courtroom. So I'm gonna play it just a little bit longer. I thought this was just fascinating. I'm just like, they actually did this?
I know this will be a long road, but I want to emphasize that you have a tremendously important task as jurors. It is to determine the facts. You, and not the court, are the sole judges of the facts. The Constitution itself recognizes your unique role in our system of justice. So please, pay careful attention to the witnesses and evidence received at trial, as well as my instructions on the law. I thank you for your commitment to performing this civic duty and recognize the sacrifices that you have all made to be here today. We will now begin with opening statements. Is the government prepared to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed.
This is Sean Combs. To the public, he was Puff Daddy, or Diddy, a cultural icon, a businessman larger than life. But there was another side to him, a side that ran a criminal enterprise. During this trial, you're going to hear about 20 years of the defendant's crimes. But he didn't do it alone. He had an inner circle of bodyguards and high-ranking employees who helped him commit crimes and helped him cover them up. Kidnapping, arson, drugs, sex crimes, bribery, and obstruction. These are just some of the crimes that the defendant and his inner circle committed again and again. You are going to hear about all of them during this trial. Let's start now with just one night. The defendant was on the hunt for his girlfriend, a woman named Cassie.
Child, I just wanted to play just that little bit. I thought that was just absolutely fascinating. So shout out to the platform Petapixel that covered this story. Never have seen, anything like this. And honestly, to tell you the truth, if we could play the whole thing without being copyrighted, I would. But there it is there, y'all. All right, y'all. It's time for Daily Motivator, and then I'm going to head on out so that we can get to our role review. which I'm gonna still give y'all that at 10:30 tonight. So let's make a deal with it, child. Woo, Jesus, be offense. Today has been a day. Generosity generates income. Seth got it. Very well said, good sir. It's time for the day motivator for Monday, May 19th, 2025. You knew you could. See, you can do it. You knew you could, and now you have. You have outlined a specific objective, and then you did the work to make it happen. You persisted through the obstacles and got the job done. At first, it seemed intimidating, but you didn't let that stop you. A whole lot of distractions popped up, but you stayed focused nonetheless. It's easy to see now that your path it's easy to see now that your faith in your ability was well placed. Though it took some stretching on your part, the experiences left you more capable. So the question becomes, what's next? If you knew you could and you did, so now what? Look into your purpose, into your repository of all you treasure. Some new goal will jump out at you. You know you can reach it, and you will. Ralph Nelson. Woo, chat. You knew you could. You knew you could. You knew you could. Chat. Ralph, we've been talking, haven't we, for about 3 years now? And I always love ending the show with this, because after we covered the mess of the impossible, and we covered the rise of the possible, you deserve to go to bed with something good, right? So, with that being said, the first thing about you knew you could. Sometimes your family, your friends, your cavalry can agitate you. They can make you big mad. They can make you want to argue. But like I said to my sister, if people are saying something to you, you should be grateful. But when people aren't saying anything to you, that's when you should be worried. And earlier tonight, I went the fuck off and said what needed to be said. And there was a consequence, because that person felt like I did give the truth according to their faculties of what they could take in as the truth, according to them. There's a consequence for that. But you know what? The problem with perspectives is everything is in the eye of the beholder. And sometimes we negate what we want to just so we can be right, instead of being happy with somebody giving their all. So the first thing I'll say is that you knew you could. Sometimes your family, your friends, and your cavalry will agitate you, piss you off, and make you want to argue. But just because it gets heavy doesn't mean they don't love you. It just feels like they're boxing against you in the ring, when really they're boxing and they're actually helping you in the ring, rather. Second thing I'll tell you about, you knew you could. It's easy to see now that your faith and your ability was well placed. Though it took some stretching on your part, the experience has left you more capable. I mean, listen, we've been here for 3 years now? And I forgot to mention Captain Venus. Shout out to her. Love that sister, value that sister, embrace that sister so much. And when I was on Tea Talk with Your Girls channel, I forgot to mention that also helped Captain Venus out behind the scenes too. See, noise equals attention. Sound equals to purpose. Stagnant princes and princesses cannot compete with progressive kings and queens. Anyone can be a president, but it takes somebody to be a gift to bless you. So while this experience, it shrinked me, it only shrunk me to be more focused on my square, so I can even be bigger than what people could have ever thought. But bigger than what they could think, I had to recognize I could be bigger for me, right? That's the second thing I'll tell you. And then finally, everybody, finally, look into your purpose. Look into your purpose. Look into your purpose. If you have to take an inch and make it a mile to cause destruction, you ain't got shit going on. You ain't got shit going on. You ain't got shit going on. You can ask for construction when you cause destruction. You can't ask for construction when you cause destruction. You can't ask for construction when you cause destruction. So before we condemn buildings or people, how about we do an inspection check and make sure it was just a light bulb that just needed to be replaced, instead of condemning the whole damn building just because we don't like the side of it. But the gag is other people are still going to that building. It's just your ass ain't going to it. With that being said, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if you let it fly, it must apply. With that being said, it's time for the best outro on YouTube. Know what you do and do what you know. Never say you weren't born special, because you were always born a blessing. Trust, you may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do what you've been chosen to do. Why is one thing to call yourself? It's nothing to be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I have spent time with you. You have spent time with me. And hopefully by spending time together, we're be great together. And always remember, we're doing radio, television, YouTube, living your best life, or listen. Instead of taking pink Coca-Cola, maybe you should let the Pink Panther be the Pink Panther. And maybe instead of doing the most to steal from other people's lives to create diamonds, maybe just recognize you just work on yourself a little bit. You already are a diamond. Make sure the replay is not just for if you watch it, not just for if you listen to it, but if you want to spirit it again. I love you, I value, I embrace you. I always remember, see love you gotta give it, see love you gotta give it, see love you gotta give it. Where obstacles you have overcome, where success you have achieved upon this particular day. I'm extremely proud of you, but no one else is proud of you. Be proud of your damn self. Finally, y'all listen. That song that Barney sings, I love you, you love me. We're one big happy family. Not everybody wants peace, sanctity, and a genuine order of love in a family. Be careful who you giving your soul to. Soul ties are not just sex. Sometimes it's the investments we make in people. Commercial break and fireworks coming your way for the day that was, for the day that's coming, for the blessings on the way for you, me, all of us, as a society, as a people, as a culture. I feel the love. Now, send it right back to you. Good night, everybody. If this is your last tour for the evening, good night to you. But for the rest of you, I'll see you under 30 minutes for our roll-up review. Bye, everybody.
I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now, they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that They have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you, they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills, with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort. where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.